Hello everyone, it's Rosemary with Good Journeys Tarot, and I am here today to do a brief first impressions walkthrough of the Goblin Tarot by Spiegel. This was a Kickstarter last year, and I missed the Kickstarter, but I saw it posted on Tandy Toe's Big Wheel Astrology on Instagram, and I'll put a link below to her site. And when I went to the Kickstarter page, I saw in an update that Chris was issuing some refunds. So I emailed him and asked, does that mean you have some extra decks? And he says, yes, I should have several. And I went ahead and purchased the deck. Now, let me go ahead and get the negative things out of the way. The quality is not fantastic. This is a really inexpensive box, and the deck itself is on pretty glossy, thin paper stock. However, I think part of the reason for the cost of it is that it is such a limited run. As you can see, I have box 66 of 100. But because it is in this type of material, when I received it, it came in a bubble envelope, and the box, as you can see, kind of gotten squishy a bit. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like crushing marks on the sides and stuff. And the cards were loose in the envelope. So I definitely am going to have to find a bag or something to put the deck in. The reason I was drawn to this deck, normally I don't do the creepy things, is the fact that it did not involve like computer editing at all. It is totally hand-drawn with pencils, pens, markers, and even the words are not computer generated. They were written out by hand. So that was one of the things that appealed to me. For some reason, the goblins also just drew me in. I don't know why, because I'm not really into creepy things, although the last few weeks I've been watching nothing but creepy shows on television. Who knows why we do the things we do. So again, this is the box. It says tarot on one side, goblin on the other. On the back, it has a brief description. He did do 50 decks of what he calls a pip deck, which really isn't a traditional tarot pip deck. It was more designed for gaming, the way he explained it. And then he did what he calls a Rider-Waite version of his deck. And these are not actual clones, i.e. he didn't just replace the goblins in the cards for people. These are actually images that were inspired by his meanings of the Rider-Waite's cards. The other thing that drew me in was the back of the cards. The back of this card reminds me so much of my favorite leggings. Ta-da, my favorite leggings. Aren't they beautiful? Anyway. So let's take a look at the deck. He did include his meanings for the cards. You'll see here he just has one word for each card. There were 2 mistakes in the deck. You'll see one mistake here where he put IV is 14 instead of 4. He also did the single card meanings for each of the suits as well. And his cards do speak very much so to the meanings that he ascribes to them. The Fool and the Magician were cards that really drew me into this deck. And you're going to see here, if you look at the first 3 cards, in the Major Arcana, there are 3 different borders which rotate. So there's this one, this one, this one, and then they repeat throughout the 21 cards of the Major Arcana. So there's not the same border on all of the cards. So this is the Fool. I just love that he has a tramp stamp that's a butterfly. The whole drawing dynamite instead of a candle thing is really cute. This is the Magician, pulling a rabbit out of a hat, adding that little bit of creepiness with the skull with the rabbit hat. The Priestess is a witch, brewing her brew. Here is our Empress, who is just basically indulging herself. She's got people waiting on her hand and foot. And then our Emperor, he actually associates with fatherhood. And so here we have the father teaching his children about the art of war, basically. There is a lot of imagery about war in here. The goblins are constantly fighting with others. Here's our Hierophant. For some reason, this lover's card to me is very appealing. There's a master and his two wolf dogs, and they've just had puppies, and I just love this. And you're going to see these characters kind of throughout the deck. And one of the cards that taught me something about tarot, or at least connected me to the tarot in a way I hadn't been before, features one of these characters. Here is our Chariot racing down the road. Here is our Strength card. There's a smaller goblin controlling a larger goblin with the use of chains there. There's our Hermit. You can see, obviously, he lives somewhere alone in a dark, damp place. He's got little fungus growing all over him. Wheel of Fortune. I mean, who wouldn't be excited to land on free beer or on gold, for that matter? Here is our Justice card. Sometimes justice is based on our wealth, and that's a horrible principle which he has captured here in this card. I love this Hangman. It's not, he's not tied up. He's just caught up in these wires, so he's just kind of suspended, but not really bound. And you'll see in a lot of the cards, the goblins are actually at war with the humans. There's our Death card. I thought this was adorable. Whole idea of trying to shoot the apple off of the head. Obviously, he hasn't been successful so far. If you look down here, you kind of see there's some other skulls and stuff where he's attempted it before. There's our Temperance card. There's a woman who has 7 children, and she just has this calm, serene look on her face as she deals with all of them. So the Tower card, sometimes changes of our own making. You can see here they've built their own tower, and the buzzsaw has just lopped off the top of their hair. There's a Devil with imagery that we kind of expect from a lot of Devil cards. There's our Star. There's a Healer. It's hard to tell because there's a lot going on in the card, but these are actually spare body parts to like replace your arm, your leg, that kind of thing. There's our Moon card. I thought this was just lovely. Both the Goblin and his dog wolf howling at the moon as they rush out to war. Lovely. The Sun card, this card, it takes a minute to like get the joy and happiness out of it. You have to find everything. So like they've got gold in their card and they've captured a human. And so there's a lot of happiness about what's going on as far as they're concerned. The Judgment card, I'm still trying to work out. It looks like there's like a parade after the war. Like they're the victors. And so everybody's excited that, you know, the conclusion of the war or the judgment, the final result was that they won. I'm not sure if that's exactly what's going on or not. Now I'll explore that card some more. And then the World, which is, you know, their happy village at peace. So in the court cards kind of follow a theme throughout each minor arcana, not court cards. The minor arcana kind of follow a theme throughout each one. Now, they all have the same 4 borders that rotate throughout. So rather than put one border on each suit, he's actually got 4 borders that rotate throughout the minor arcana. So there is our Ace of Swords. Here's our Two of Swords. His word for this card is stalemate. And this reminds me a little bit of the Slow Tarot's Two of Swords, where we've got 2 people who possibly could be the same person battling one another over some water on rocks. The next card is one that's taught me something about the tarot. And I just want to give you a warning that it does feature animated animal violence. because I know that bothers some people. And so the Goblin and his sidekick have both been stabbed, and his partner did not make it. And so for me, the Three of Swords in the RWS with the heart and then the three swords stabbing it has never resonated with me. It didn't feel like betrayal, loss, bereavement, the things that it should feel like to me. And I guess because I haven't had a lot of that in my life. But this put it in perspective for me because I have had animals my whole life. And two of the dogs that I had that passed just hit me traumatically. And so I finally kind of connected with the Three of Swords in that way after seeing this particular image. There's our four. He's at rest. There's our five. Our six. Time to get out of Dodge. There's our seven. There's a little bit of confusion there as to what's actually going on in our life. There's our eight. His own mask is blinding his view. There's our nine, our nightmare card. I'm dreaming, and you'll see in the major arcana there are a lot. In the minor arcana, there are some that are reminiscent of the RWS, but there are some that are distinctly different as well. This card, the Ten of Swords, his keyword was betrayal, and this is definitely betrayal. You see the little goblin pushing the other goblin off to his death, and that might be one interpretation of the card. Here are our pages. Again, there's a character with a wolf dog. There's our knight riding on the pig bull. Our queen, who is being pulled by the wolf dogs there on her chariot. And then our king, who's riding a dragon. So the wands are goblins who are studying magic. So you're going to see brooms and magic wands used in here. There's a heavy Harry Potter Hogwarts thing going on in these cards. There's our ace, our two. There he is, his book studying hard to plan for the future. The three in this deck, he has a keyword of treachery. That's not really a word I would normally use for this card, but that is what he has drawn here as well. The Four of Wands, stability, celebration, as someone else is doing all the work for you right there. There's the Five of Wands, which to me hits me as the most RWS card. There's that struggle or battle between the various characters. The Six of Wands is our victory card, so everyone passed their magic class. Okay. There's our Seven of Wands, one person standing up against others in a last-ditch effort. The Eight, definitely showing that motion and that action that we're used to in the Eight of Wands, but in a different way. There's our Nine of Wands. You can see the teacher just trying to survive at the very top of the class. There's our Ten of Wands, which the struggle is over. You survived it. You know, if you can make it through, you'll get past it, you know. And here are our courts, which are going to look familiar if you're at all familiar with Harry Potter. There's the page. Our knight. Any guesses who that is? Our queen, which also looks very much like who you think it is. And finally, our king. So the cups, they feature a lot of beer mugs, basically. So this is the Ace of Cups. Here's our Two of Cups. Now, not a traditional relationship, but a relationship nonetheless to people who are enjoying the same things in one another's company, or two characters, I should say. Here's the Three of Cups. That very centerpiece there, that looks just like a card I did over on my Instagram site, so you'll want to check that out. The Four, he's totally ignoring the one cup that's left, looking at it like, do I really want to take that last cup? Our Five of Cups, our Six of Cups. So this one's about a reunion, is what he said. And so it's just kind of people celebrating being together. There's our Seven of Cups. He's kind of like dreaming about all of the drinks that he's had. Or at least he's dreaming that he had fun drinking before he passed out. There is our Eight of Cups. It's time to get out of Dodge. We were happy to do what we did, but now it's time to go. The Nine of Cups. There's our 10, just our happy family. All right, there's our Page. Our Knight. He really tried to capture that like caring aspect of the Knight in the cups. With the kids there, there's the Queen of Cups, being somewhat nurturing, and there's the King of Cups. All still centered around that bar theme. And then finally, in our Pentacles here, our Earth suit, we're going to see some more of our little pig fellows, and of just them living life, basically, doing the mundane things, like the Two of Pentacles here. He's, raising his kids. Got one in each arm, juggling life, as it were. There's our Three. The whole idea of building up things, planning for our project, working with others kind of thing. The Four of Pentacles kind of has that, greed feel that you get from the Four of Pentacles normally, but a little bit of a different take. Instead of like holding tight to the money, playing fast and loose with it a little bit maybe. There's the Five. Rather than a church, there's a bar. If times are tough, let's go have a drink, right? Not the best idea, but it's one way to look at that card. A Six of Pentacles is about, giving and receiving. So there's our storehouse where they're giving and receiving goods and stuff. So the Seven of Pentacles, he's actually raising chickens. He's looking on at his hard work and the what's to come. There's our Eight, which is about that hard work, apprenticeship. I love this Nine. It's a totally different take than most decks. Instead of a beautiful woman in her garden with a bird and all of that, we've got this Goblin who is rolling around in dough. He is just very happy and content with life right now. 10, again, that legacy, that family, ancestry, home kind of thing going on there. We got our Page. These are all skeletons in the Pentacles, going back to that idea of Earth and whatnot. There's our Knight. Our Queen. And our King. So the cards shuffle okay. They're a little slick. I riffle shuffle everything because I cannot do that overhand thing. I don't know what it is. But as you can see, it shuffles pretty good. And I've been looking forward to working with it. Some of the cards don't capture my traditional meanings, which is great because I learn a little bit more about other decks through studying. And, Yeah, so I'm very happy with this deck overall, and you probably could hop over to the Kickstarter and give him an email, see if maybe he has any decks still available if you're interested in it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, good journeys.